I'm a cow. Bitch, I'm a cow. Bitch, I'm a cow.
Apparently this video struck a nerve with people. I received a couple comments and several messages across the platforms telling me I don't know how lucky I am to be able to breastfeed. I do, trust me, I do know how lucky I am, because this being my third baby, this is the first time that I've been able to exclusively breastfeed, except for the week during menstruation, because my hormones get all wacky and out of control and my production dips, unfortunately. So the last 2 months, I unfortunately have had to use formula during menstruation week, and you know, that's okay. It is what it is. Have you ever cried, and I mean like ugly cried, because you wanted something so bad? You wanted, for me, was to be able to breastfeed. I wanted to breastfeed so bad and I could not. And, you know, I got shamed for using formula with my older two. I had family that was like, it's okay to use formula. We all used formula. But I left all mom groups because every mom group that I was in was all, formula is trash. Breast is best. If you aren't giving your child breast milk, you're failing as a mother. And you know what? That's just so fucking wrong. That is, I literally left every single mom group because of that shit. We can sit here and argue all day about breast is best and fed is best. I 100% agree with fed is best. Fed is not bare minimum, because there are parents who do not feed their children. If you don't believe me, look up this woman's name and you will see the charge that she got and what she did to her poor baby. Fed is best, not minimum. There are people like that woman who do not deserve children. There are so many mothers who have tried to breastfeed and could not because their body would not. And that doesn't make them wrong. That doesn't make them less of a mother. And the one person trying to say that pumping isn't breastfeeding can get bent, like seriously. Pumping is still breastfeeding. It's breast milk just delivered in another form. And my baby does latch when I put him on my breast. It's just faster for me to pump than for him to latch. So I saved myself the trouble of latching for an hour versus pumping for 20 minutes. Because I have 2 older children, and it is easier to spend 20 minutes pumping than it is for an hour of baby falling asleep over and over again at the breast because he's comfortable and content with where he is. I don't have an hour to sit down with 2 older kids. My 5-year-old and almost 4-year-old, he'll be 4 at the end of this month, keep me on my toes all day, and soon the baby will too, because he's already pulling himself up and standing up. It's only going to take him probably a few weeks before he starts walking. I don't get to just sit down and relax and do nothing all day because I'm a stay-at-home mom. Actually, I get to do that today, kind of, because my older 2 are with family members, and I get to rest, and I plan on resting as soon as I'm done pumping and making this video. Hopefully, my little baby over here that I still have because he is on the boob, hopefully he sleeps with me, because this little monster was up until almost 5 a.m. because he's going through a sleep regression, and he is cutting teeth right now, which I think is what's causing the sleep regression. And it's kind of funny because he and my oldest are both cutting teeth at the same time. She is getting her adult molars right now, the 2 on top, and then he's getting 2 teeth on top. And it looks like he has little vampire fangs coming down, which is absolutely hysterical. But yeah, I do know how lucky I am because I went through different experiences with all 3 of them. And honestly, I think the worst was Harold, because me deciding to exclusively breastfeed really fucked that kid up, man. Although he ended up being my biggest baby, he was big, and I think that had a lot to do with the combo feeding. And I only got to combo feed for like 4 months before my supply dried up completely, and it happened just out of the blue. And with my first, I dried up after a month because I decided to supplement with fenugreek or whatever the heck, whatever that freaking one is called, that can either help you or diminish your supply. Well, it diminished my supply. So with Henry, I didn't do that. This time I focused on staying hydrated, eating balanced, high protein and high fiber. And it's been working. I'm honestly pretty shocked. I have not cut carbs because carbs are important not only for me but for his development as well. Carbs give you energy. I do not track fat. I do not track carbs. I do not track anything other than calories, protein, and fiber. Those are the 3 things that I track, and those are the 3 things that I track that have helped me lose 60 pounds. When I was pregnant with him, I lost 15 pounds. However, after I gave birth to him, I had only lost 4 pounds. I ended up having an emergency C-section with him, and that caused a lot of swelling. So I'm assuming I had lost a little more than 15 pounds when I was pregnant with him, but I actually have no idea because I'm assuming some swelling started near the end of my pregnancy. I did notice it in my legs, and I did talk to my OB about it. So I was wearing compression socks, and after giving birth, I was only down 4 pounds, and he was almost an 8-pound baby. He was like 7 pounds, 13 ounces. And to have only lost 4 pounds pre-surgery to post-surgery, they knew something was going on. And then I ended up gaining even more weight. So it was like I gained weight versus losing the baby and the placenta and all that fun stuff. I ended up gaining a lot of swelling and water weight post-surgery. They weighed me before the day I had my emergency C-section. They had weighed me that morning. And then they were weighing me every morning after I had him. And they ended up placing me on a diuretic for a few days to try and combat the water weight. And man, I was pissing like a racehorse, like for real. I think I was, every time I went pee, it was like a gallon of pee. It was absolutely ridiculous. I didn't even think I could store that much urine inside of me. And then they had me peeing in like a little hat that you put on the toilet, and you want to know what? That damn thing overflowed every single time I went pee. And I had to hit my button because they were tracking how much I was urinating. I had to hit my button every time I had to go pee because they weren't coming in like hourly to check on me, and I was going pee like literally every hour. I did not lose that water weight though until after the postpartum preeclampsia experience and being readmitted for the postpartum preeclampsia. I ended up swelling more when I got home, and that was awful. I have a postpartum photo that I took in the mirror in the bathroom, and I look at it and I'm like, holy, I am bloated. Like I look so swollen. It looks awful. I told my husband and my aunt that Henry is the baby that tried to take me out, and during his teen years, I am not going to let him live that down, because the other two did not try to take me out. Henry tried to take me out, man. The postpartum preeclampsia, oh my lord. If I had not gone back to the OB when I did, I probably wouldn't even be here anymore. And that, I think, is the scariest thought about the entire experience. The day that I got readmitted for the postpartum preeclampsia, I went in like 3 days after being released from the hospital. And when I went in, that happened because I returned the night I was released from my C-section to the hospital because I was seeing like staticky vision. That is a sign of preeclampsia. That is a sign of postpartum preeclampsia also. You're not supposed to be seeing static or black splotches in your vision. You need to go to the hospital immediately. But at my visit, my blood pressure was like 180 over like 110. Like it was higher than normal for me. And they sent me to the hospital, and I had to have a magnesium drip, and that shit is not for the weak. So Henry will not be living that down when he is a teenager. I will get to remind him that you tried to kill me. Yes, you did.